People against Buxton. Kama Ray Buxton, 22B142010A and B.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Crawford, representing Ms. Ma'am, for the record, please state your full name.
Kama Ray Buxton.
She pled no contest to open intoxicants, which is file B. She also pled no contest to operating while visibly impaired due to the consumption of controlled substance. And that's where we are from here. Have you had the opportunity to review the report with her, and are there any material additions, corrections, or deletions?
Your Honor, I've had the opportunity to review the client. For the most part, there are no changes that are being requested except to the recommendation of inpatient treatment. She's asking for outpatient treatment, Your Honor. She believes.
Can I see your AA verification? Your AA verification.
With the AA, sign up.
I told you I just.
She just got out of jail just 10 days ago.
So she should have gone at least 2 or 3 times. Let me see the proof.
And she signed up, but she hasn't started, Your Honor.
They're not going to get along very well.
Your Honor, I want to remind.
Why didn't you go?
I've just been taking care of getting my mother properly her memorial and everything. And I've researched, I wasn't sure which one. And I also have an appointment Monday for intensive.
Did your mom pass?
Yeah, her mom passed recently, Your Honor. That was
When?
part of it. She was December the 19th. So she was in jail during that time period. She just got out.
What was she in jail for?
It was another matter,
Violation.
of probation
Seeing
violation.
everybody, huh? What court were you in front of on that?
Lincoln Park,
How long were you in jail on Lincoln Park case?
7 days.
All right, so listen, this is February, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm really sorry about your mom. But you need to comply with these bond conditions. I mean, see, here's the thing. You might as well carry in a flag that says, I don't take this seriously. This is a joke. I don't care what you say. No, I'm just telling you, when you don't listen to what I'm telling you, and you don't do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, that's what it conveys to me.
Your Honor, I'd just like to emphasize the timing again. Although it is February, she just got out of jail 10 days ago. And in that time, she had to hurry up and coordinate the burial of her mom, various family members coming in.
Well, when was she in jail? What days?
Now, when were we there? What is asking?
It was, I was in there until it was released on the 20th.
Speak to the court.
I'm sorry, sir. I was released on I've been out for, it's been about 10 days.
So you've been out since the 21st, right?
It was the 21st.
Maybe the 22nd.
It was the 21st or 22nd.
And you were out in for 7 days. Is that what you said?
I have my paperwork there. I've just.
Because I ordered this on January.
I've
I don't
also
know,
been.
you weren't in custody when you came in front of me on the 17th, were you?
Yes.
No, she wasn't in custody, Your Honor. She was on Zoom.
I was in custody.
That's what I just said. So she was in custody.
Also was subpoenaed.
Ma'am. Talk to me. So again, Your Honor, there's only so much time in those 10 days to.
Where does she work?
Well, she's back to work, Your Honor. She's back at Little Caesars. It's a job she's had for approximately a year. She works downtown at the Ford and the arena across the street.
How many hours do you work per week?
It depends on how many events, but we've
On
been
average.
pretty busy.
On average, ma'am.
We work like 8 to 9 hours a night, and usually for 3 to 4 times a week.
So you're working anywhere from 24 to 36 hours a week.
Yes,
Fair?
And that time that she's off, she had to again coordinate the funeral, the burial Again, family members coming in, she's got insurance, all the issues that come when someone passes, right? Not a lot of time, but she did make the call. She is scheduled to start with some services, you said at the beginning of next week. So she's not completely thumbing her nose at the court, Your Honor. She's just overwhelmed in those 10 days, but she's moving through them one at a time. She's here. And,
Is everything in this report accurate, counsel?
yes, Your Honor.
And no material additions, corrections, or deletions?
No, Your Honor, except for the inpatient request.
Anything you would like to say on her behalf?
Well, Your Honor, my client's been having a really tough time the past 2 or 3 years. It's not meant to justify the behavior and the bad decisions, but she's been in a circumstance where she's been a victim of domestic abuse, domestic violence, and stalking in a very serious way for the past 2 or 3 years. She's been a victim. The person who has been putting her through all this was just sentenced yesterday. And that's another thing that's taken up some of her time. She's had to be a witness and all this kind of stuff. The point is, Your Honor, she was under a lot of stress and she kind of turned to some wrong directions, just kind of self-medicate, get through this. Her mom, who passed, like we said, December 19th, she'd been sick for the past 2 years after her dad died. She had to step in and try to take care of her mom, get her the chemo in and out over that time. So she had a bad time period. She turned to alcohol and these other substances to kind of get her through. She knows that's wrong. She wants to turn it around. She wants some support now, Your Honor. She believes that she's in a position to do that now that things come off her shoulders a bit, Your Honor. She doesn't believe that she's going to go back down that path. She doesn't want to go down that path anymore. She believes this is an opportunity for a fresh start. So she believes most of these items that are being recommended are welcomed. Because she knows she needs the help and she's sincere about trying to turn it around. But at the same time, when you consider inpatient versus outpatient, she's concerned about keeping the job. Again, she has to still probate the estate for her mom. I believe there are 2 properties that in her mom's estate, and as the court knows, that's a pretty serious subject matter. She doesn't know how to deal with that. It'll be tough to do from an inpatient standpoint, but either way, whatever the court requires, she'll do it. But she's hoping for outpatient because she's still got a lot to do. She's got no living family members except for the man here in the courtroom. This is her cousin, and both have suffered these losses. They're both going through a lot. All they've got is each other, but he's here for her here in court. He's promised me at least that he'll continue to support her in her attempt at recovery. So she's just asking for the court to have some understanding of her particular circumstances. She know her history does not look good. She's hoping for the opportunity to turn this page for the court support.
I don't see any conviction out of Lincoln Park. What were you on probation at Lincoln Park for? Or is that where you saw a probation officer on a felony?
Well, the same man that's put me through this years ago, my mom had put a
Listen to my
he took
question.
the car. I was put for felony car theft, but I was.
You didn't go, you're not on probation out of the Lincoln Park court, right?
Yes.
Well, if you stole a car, that's a felony.
I didn't, but there was stuff found the day that I stopped the police. There
It
was,
looks like January 12th, she just was in on a Lincoln Park dangerous drug charge. That's what happened. Now I see it.
Your Honor,
So that's the date that it emanated.
she had called for.
me and my cousin were just both.
I don't want to know about the
I
case.
didn't have it.
I don't know.
There was one Suboxone, which was my mother.
I don't want to, I said twice, I don't want to talk about the case. I asked you why you were in custody. You said Lincoln Park on a violation of probation. There was a warrant request on a drug case from January the 12th out of the city of Lincoln Park, county of Wayne, and state of Michigan. So let's stop going on and on right now. Is there some other case pending in Lincoln Park right now, Mr. Crawford?
Not that I'm aware
Is
of.
there some other case pending right now?
This violation of probation.
For what?
It was for a case like a year ago for the same sort of thing.
What sort of thing? Drugs?
It was yeah. Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to say?
No, Your Honor, my client needs help. She knows she needs help. She's looking forward to the help.
Ma'am, I don't think you're gonna make it. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I really want to get better and
Well, I want you.
get all this behind me and get my life back together.
You're not doing too well. I'm gonna give you a chance here, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. You should have been going. I understand this. I'm sorry for your loss. But somehow, some way, I just determined, as though I'm a dentist, that you, while I told you not to drink, while I told you not to drug, went out and picked up another drug offense and didn't do the AA like I told you to. So honestly, 1 out of 862 are going to get through to take it that seriously. I'm just telling you. This isn't some kind of a request. I'm not suggesting, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you, you're going to do these things. You don't do these things, don't be crying when I send you to jail for 93 days because you are so close right now. On probation. You picked up another drug charge. You picked up another drug charge. Do I look stupid? If I do, just tell me. It's okay. You can tell me, Judge, you look stupid. You look like I can put one over on you. You look like you didn't make it past the 3rd grade and can't multiply 9 times 3 without a calculator. If you want to tell me that, you can tell me that. Well, don't talk to me like I didn't get past the 3rd grade then. I mean, I just do not care for people lying to me. I asked you specific questions and you failed to tell me you got arrested on a drug charge. You're talking about a violation of probation. And so while you're not doing that and not going to AA, now I find out you picked up another offense, and I'm not real happy about that. 16 months probation. You cannot leave this state without the consent of the court or violate any law. If you change your address, place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify the probation department. You have to report as directed. No alcohol. No illegal drugs.
Yes, sir.
No marijuana. You're not to purchase, possess, or consume any one of those. Testing. I don't think you're going to make it. I'm going to let you try. You're going to go through weekly testing for 3 months. Submit the chemical test, PVTs, and ETGs weekly for 3 months. If you're clean, I'll make it bi-weekly for 4. If you're clean after that, I'll then revert it to monthly testing. You may be eligible for early discharge. AA, NA 3 times a week until an intensive outpatient treatment. No wonder they're recommending inpatient. You're going to intensive outpatient treatment. You're going to go to AA, NA 3 times a week. Ma'am, I'm going to have them follow through. I'm going to expect you to get the proof to them. What probation officer have you been dealing with so far?
I only here.
No, in Toledo. Of course here. Come on.
I've only filled out the assessment.
I need somebody in here on this new case, came up Juxon, and I'm going to have, it looks like Jessica did the probation recommendation. Whoever is going to be handling this on probation, if they know, send them over. If not, send her over.
Okay, sir. Can you tell me the name again? I couldn't quite
Juxon,
understand.
Y-U-K, I'm sorry, V-U-K. V-U-K.
Okay, okay, I know who you're talking about,
Buxton,
sir.
yep, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
NA 3 times a week, you need to have the form signed. And you don't bring it for the form with you. I'm gonna assume you did not go until an intensive outpatient. Victims impact panel, attend that, complete that. 300 fines, 200 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment. Fines and costs are 6 1/4. Screening fees 60 for 685. Probation fees are 320. Bring your total to 1,005. I'm also going to order 5 days jail credit, 1 serve 4 And that will be, I'll let you serve those on the court work program. There's a $35 a day charge for that for a total of $140. $225 in cost of recovery. As I said, probation fees $320, 300 fines, 200 costs, screening fee of 60, victims' rights and justice assessment fees, 140 in court work program fees, 225 Brownstown Township, your total's 1370. If you violate, your probation could be revoked. You could be incarcerated for 93 days. You have 21 days to appeal. You have 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal. That's all on the impaired charge. On the other charge, I'm simply going to go light, 25 fines. This is on the open intox, 25 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment, 175 or 30 days. So you'll 175 and you'll 1370 for a total of 1545. You understand all of that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Can you pay all of this today?
Yes, sir.
So you're gonna pay this now, and you're gonna pay on the other case now. And you have to stay vigilant on this. I'm telling you, I expect you to take care of this. Pardon?
So you're gonna be proud of me.
Well, I hope so. I hope I'm wrong about all of this. I just don't think you're taking me very seriously. Okay? Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Your Honor. Michael Crawford representing Mr. Walters. Sir, for the record, state your name.
Daniel Walters.
So he's not been arraigned. Is he standing away from a reading?
Yes, Your Honor.
Not guilty, pleas entered. He's now going to plead the retail fraud.
Attempted retail fraud, Your Honor.
Pardon?
Attempted retail.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's going to plead to attempt retail fraud with a retail fraud charge to be dismissed. True?
True, Your Honor.
Is that what you want to do, sir?
Yes, sir.
That calls for up to 250 fines, 45 days jail costs, or all of those. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
When did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
I did, yes.
If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all of those rights, and there will not be a hearing or a trial. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Is this how you wish to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right, to the charge, attempted retail fraud. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Were you at, I don't even know where they were.
CBS, Your Honor.
I know, but counts, okay. Were you at the CVS store in Grosse Ile, December 14 to 22?
Yes.
What did you do?
I went
Take
in.
property offered for sale without paying for it.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Did you take property that was offered for sale without paying for it and walk past the register with the intent to deprive CVS of that property forever?
Well, I didn't even get to the register. I was still in the back of the store.
What'd you take?
It was a small pint of vodka, but I didn't take it.
Hang on.
But
You're not gonna play lawyer with me, are you? Where'd you put the vodka at?
I attempted to put it
Where'd you put it?
down my pants.
Huh. So did you intend to steal it at that time?
I did.
I mean, you weren't gonna pull it out when you went past the register and say, hey, I'm here to pay for this now. I just thought I'd kid around and carry it in my pants between the time I picked up the bottle of vodka and the time I got here. You weren't gonna do that, were you?
No, sir. You're right.
I know I'm right. Are you on probation or parole?
I'm on probation, yes.
Do you understand by pleading guilty, this would be deemed a violation of that probation or parole? That probation or parole could be revoked. You could be imprisoned or incarcerated, as the case may be, as a result of this plea and conviction.
I do.
You still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
Anybody in the world force you to plead guilty?
No.
Please accept it. Attempted retail fraud. The retail fraud is dismissed. I don't need a pre-sentence report, but I'm giving you a sentence date. You have to go over and get printed and photographed. I'm giving you a $500 personal bond. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate any law. You must appear in court as directed. You're not to enter any CVS pharmacy store. You're not to have any contact with prosecution witnesses. You're not going to have contact with employees of the Grozio CVS. No contact with employees of the Grozio CVS. And also, as a condition of your bond, you have to go over to Grozio Police Department, get fingerprinted and photographed by 2 p.m. today. Also, you cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate any law. You must appear in court as directed. I'll give you a sentencing date, and that will be on February the 15th. We have to notify the victim, Lisa, and I'm going to make this at 8:30 in the morning. So we will see you here on that date and time. I don't need a pre-sentence. You can go down the hall, get your notice, and then go over to Grozio and get printed and photographed. Any questions?
You said by 2 p.m. I don't drive, so that might be kind of difficult.
How'd you get here?
I got an Uber, but I really don't have the money to get an Uber. They already have my fingerprints and.
Not from this date, though.
Okay, yeah.
I'll make it by 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
By 2 p.m. tomorrow, February the 2nd, okay?
Sounds good.
February the 2nd. All right.
Will they know that I'm going over there?
You're gonna go down the hall, they're gonna give you a notice and a copy of this order for prints, and you're gonna take that with you.
Okay.
When you go to Grozio tomorrow, okay?
Sounds good.
You're in here a lot lately.
Yeah, if I can add something.
Sir, don't.
You can add whatever you want if your lawyer wants you to talk.
He doesn't. I just wanted to kind of explain like the circumstances.
Sure.
It's not an excuse though by any means.
You can't abuse it.
Okay.
And you understand I'm also ordering no alcohol, right?
Absolutely.
No alcohol, no illegal drugs, no marijuana either. You understand all of that, right?
Yeah. I've been actually really good with it. I have been. I swear to God.
You've been coming in front of me a lot.
No, I know, but I've had kind of like I hate to say like come to the Lord moment the past like 2 months, but I've been like really on the up and up.
Good luck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Christian Cameron Carter Jr., 22B, 141613.
Gotcha.
Morning, counsel again.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Crawford, representing Mr. Carter.
Sir, your name?
Christian Carter.
All right, so this is going to be a plea, but he's never been arraigned. Does he stand away from a reading?
Yes, Your Honor.
Not guilty plea is entered. Now he's going to plead, right?
He's going to plead guilty under 771.
771.1. Is that what you want to do, sir?
Oh, yes, sir.
You plead guilty to this. The possible penalties under local ordinance are up to 500 fines, 93 days jail, costs, or all of those. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Oh, yes, I did.
Plead guilty, you'll be giving up each and every one of those rights, and we will not have a hearing of any kind. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Is this how you wish to proceed?
Yes, sir.
To the charge of assault and battery, how do you wish to plead?
I plead guilty.
Were you in Brownstown Township on November 10 of 22, specifically at 20001 Brownstown Center Drive in Brownstown?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you work there?
Yes.
What happened?
Incident with a coworker.
Female or male?
Female.
What happened?
Long story short, he horsed around quite a bit, and with horseplay, she said something to me, and I corrected her on it many times, and then I basically just tugged her hair and just told her not to do it again.
You what?
I tugged her hair.
Tugged her hair.
Yes. Put her hair, sir.
Were the two of you arguing when you pulled her hair?
No, sir.
Just having fun?
We horse around all the time, this coworker and
I
myself.
didn't ask you about other times or since then or before then. That day, were the two of you arguing or angry with one another?
No, sir. Not until that point.
Until what point?
Until
the point that you-
afterwards.
Until
after
you
the hair
put your,
tug.
until you put your hands on her hair and pulled it?
Yes, sir.
Was that a forceful pulling of the hair?
No, sir.
What was it like?
It was basically 1 o'clock. So we're sitting here and I'm like this, like stop it, that's it. There was no,
You guys were fooling around,
yeah, yes, sir.
laughing?
Yes, sir. Like we had no issues, just co-worker myself. We're like brother and sister.
Who called the police?
I didn't know that the police was called. I thought that it was held at some point in time that HR was involved in it. And I guess from there, that's how the police, I really don't know. I just got notice of this yesterday.
Look, if you don't think you did anything wrong, a battery requires a forceful or violent touching of the person or something closely connected with the person of another. That's what it requires. Assault's a little bit different. I need not go into that. You think that that was a violent touching of her hair?
In my opinion, no, sir.
Okay. All right, so I'm entering a not guilty plea. I'm setting it for a pretrial. You can go out and hire a lawyer, because I can't justify appointing you a lawyer based on the fact that you work at GM. How much do you make there?
I'm not there anymore. I actually quit that job in November
Where?
in Brownstown.
How much were you making?
I was making $15.50 an hour.
How much do you make now?
Now I just started at another place. I'm making $16 an hour.
Well, I'm gonna give you a $1,000 personal bond. You can fill out a petition for a court-appointed lawyer. You cannot leave this state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate any law. You must appear in court as directed. I'm going to send you for prints and photographs. I don't believe you've been printed or photographed, but let me double check that. You never went over to Grozio for prints, did you? Sir? Sir, are you listening to me?
Yes, I am.
Did you go over to Brownstown or to Brownstown Police Department and get printed on this case?
Were you printed in Brownstown in
No,
this
I
case?
haven't. No, I haven't been.
So I'm giving you that personal bond. I'm telling you to be there by 2 p.m. in Brownstown today. You cannot leave the state. You should not violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. So you're gonna go over there by 2 p.m. today. And no firearms. You're not to possess firearms. You're not to possess dangerous weapons. You're not to leave the state. You're not to violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. Since you're not going back there, and no contact at all with Maya Hall, you cannot write, phone, see, text, email, or communicate with her in any way, or have anybody else do any of those things for you or on your behalf. The citation says defendant allegedly grabbed the victim by the hair, yanking her down and around, pulling her hair weave out. You're not to enter the property address at 20001 Brownstown Center Drive in Brownstown Township. Again, no contact with prosecution witnesses. Do we understand one another?
Yes, I do.
You're gonna get a copy of the order for print. You're going over to Brownstown. Give me a court date. I'm gonna make it February the 15th. We'll make it later in the day. I'll make this at 10 o'clock. So do you fully understand every single thing that I've heard said?
Yes, I understand.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, can I just do the original deal?
No, it's too late. It's too late. Good luck to you, ladies. Harrison. Antonio Lee Harrison Jr., 21B139, 623-20F234,
Kathy Murphy,
051.
sorry, Judge.
It's okay.
Kathy Murphy, 251422, for Mr. Harrison. Sir, would you state your name?
Antonio Harrison.
So let's take the suspend charge first. As I understand it, he's going to plead guilty. Is that true?
Yes, Judge.
So for purposes of arraignment, does he stand mute, waive formal reading?
Yes, Judge.
So I'm entering a not guilty plea on that. Possible penalties on that are up to 500 fines, 93 days jail. Cost of all of those in 2 points. Do you understand that?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign, read, and understand and advice of rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
You plead guilty, you'll be giving up all of those rights. And there will not be a hearing or a trial of any kind. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were charged driving on a suspended. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Were you operating a motor vehicle in the township of Brownstown on July 27 of 21?
Yes, Your Honor.
Specifically on I-75 near Dix at roughly 8:49 p.m. on that date.
Yes, Your Honor.
Was your license suspended?
Yes.
Are you on probation?
He is on probation to
I
you,
know,
Judge.
I know. Besides this, besides to me, are you on probation?
No.
Anybody force you to plead guilty?
No.
Please accept the suspend. I'm ready for the sentence on the other case or the show cause. On 20F234051, what's he doing on this one?
He's gonna plead guilty to the allegations, Your Honor.
Well, I hope he's got some really good explanations. I really do.
Whenever you're ready. Your
Mr.
Honor.
Harris, is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
You plead guilty, you could have your probation revoked, you could be jailed for 93 days. You understand that?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
absconded, this is a non-technical violation. Again, it means you could get 93 days. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Yes.
If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all of those rights, and there will not be a hearing of any kind. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
To the charge that you fail to pay your fines and costs as ordered, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You fail to pay your fines and costs as ordered. Did
Yes.
you fail to pay your fines and costs as ordered?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the count 2 that you failed to attend your scheduled probation visit on November 12 of 21? How do you plead?
Guilty.
You fail to do that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Count 3. You failed to attend the court work program October 23 of 21. How do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
You failed to attend the court work program on that day.
Yes.
Anybody force you to plead guilty?
No.
Tell me he was doing something really important.
Judge,
Repelling attacks from foreign enemies or doing something like that. There's no way he would ignore a court like this. He's been playing with me. I'm not appreciative of it. He's been gone here for a year and a half, 15 months. Let me hear it. I can't wait.
so
Please
Judge,
are accepted. Go ahead.
Judge, he did complete anger management. Okay, that was one of the conditions of his probation.
Call in somebody from probation. I don't know. It's David Roel's case.
Do you
Go
want me
ahead.
to wait?
Nope.
Okay, so, and you'll notice on the register of actions, he made a payment in June of 21, a payment in August, and a payment in September of 21. Then he disappeared. And I asked him, what happened? And he had started a landscaping business in April of 21. Judge, he showed me some beautiful pictures on his phone of beautiful work that he's been doing. He gives discounts to veterans. He one of the days that he was supposed to be in court, he showed me a pic, and he didn't show me it because it was that date. He was just showing me pictures of work that he's done. He printed up 3,000 business cards, Judge, passed them around all around downriver. He employs other people. He is expecting when he gets his taxes to pay off everything that he owes to the court. He has $80 that he can pay today. Judge, he has 4 children that he sees every day. He goes to Moses Temple Baptist Church. He volunteers to feed homeless people 2 times a month. His mother is really a prominent member of that congregation. He helps clean the church. The mother of his children works night shifts at Beaumont Taylor. She works 12-hour shifts 3 days a week and on weekends. He watches the kids at night. He also helps his mother. His mother has cancer, and his sister died a few years ago, and his mother is raising his two nephews, so he helps out with them. He's studying business administration at Wayne County Community College. Judge, Mr. Harrington didn't really have an answer to me about why he sort of just stopped paying attention to his obligations here, but he's been doing good things, and he will be sorely missed by his family and the community if he were incarcerated. I'm asking you, Judge, to not revoke his probation and incarcerate him, but give him a chance to pay off his fines and costs, do whatever else you want him to do, Judge.
Anything you want to say?
Yes. Your Honor, I just asking for a second chance.
Second chance.
It's a fifth chance, Your Honor.
Or-
It's
I know I've, supposed to came into court, and I just have been working and with my kids, and I just want to take care of it. I am going to respect whatever that you asked me to do.
Judge, he could have not shown up today, but he did.
Not gonna put a gold star on his forehead for showing up when he's supposed to be here. Ms. Wilds, your name?
Elizabeth Wilds, probation, Your Honor.
I just don't understand this. I just will never understand. There's no fear out there anymore, is there?
No, he's genuinely afraid,
I'm
Judge.
just saying, there's no fear out there. There's no respect for authority, it doesn't seem like. I'm not saying everybody across the board. I'm just saying, as a general rule, the people that come in here, they just don't have, if they have any respect for authority, it's little, very little. This case was from November of 2020, and here we are on a destruction of property case, 27 months later, still playing with it. You just don't show up when you're supposed to. You weren't here in February of 21. You didn't show up in December of 21. You didn't show up in June of 22. And the warrant was issued after the second of those misses. I don't understand. All right, tell me your name again and tell me what you think.
Elizabeth Wilds, probation, Your Honor. As you just indicated, even during or prior to probation, Mr. Harrison was non-compliant. Probation worked very diligent to even try to get his PSI done. As you indicated, he failed to even show on probation or to return any paperwork for that. When he was finally placed on probation, he complied with maybe just a couple of months of his terms and conditions. Almost immediately after being instructed, he pretty much absconded. He failed to show for his first day on the work program and never showed to take care of that miss. The only thing that I can say to Mr. Harrison's credit is he did complete the anger management program with his follow-up. Outside of that, he's had no communication with the probation department. Again, no credit for the work program. At the time of the show cause authored by Mr. Rojas, the balance was $360. I'll be honest, John, I did not look. I don't know if he has any late fees or penalties in there, Your Honor. But he basically blew off the court after, again, just a couple of months of probation.
Your Honor,
It's a good way to put it.
Mr. Harrison went through a profound change in his life after that, Judge. That's all I can say.
Before or after he missed court for the third time?
After.
After, okay.
He would be sorely missed, Judge, by
I'm
his
sure he
family,
would.
his employees,
I'm
and the
sure he
community
would. I'm
if
not
he
just-
were
I'm
incarcerated.
just not gonna let these kinds of things go. I'm just not. I'm just not. Go off this other one too.
Judge, we'd be leaving 3 small children without
I
supervision.
get it. Who's watching them?
Sorry,
Who's watching them now?
she's home. She works nights.
Okay, well, I'm sure that the mother isn't going to go to work if Mr. Harrison isn't here. And by the way, let's not make it look like he's a choir boy. I mean, we got a 36th district court warrant that was entered back in August of 19. We got one out of Allen Park, January of 20. We got another out of Allen Park, January of 20. Another one out of Allen Park from January of 20. Another one out of Novi from May of 21. Another one out of Taylor from November 15 of 21. Another one out of Taylor from November 15 of 21. Another one out of Taylor from November of 21. And I think there's a state police one here. May of 21. So I know, everybody's supposed to be a choir boy, you know that? Choir boy and an altar boy with a tremendous voice, right? And you just haven't done anything here. You gotta grow up. I mean, I think all this is wonderful that your lawyer's bringing up. And if you were just doing that, my hat would be off to you. But you're not. You're committing crime, blowing off course, and showing no respect. It's just that simple. I mean, you don't have to be, I don't know how else to put it. The criminal justice system does not owe apologies for doing what I'm about to do to people that just don't show any concern or any respect or any attempt to comply with orders of the court. I mean, I'll go kind of white on you, really. How much does he owe right now? Antonio.
Yeah, I just.
On the suspend charge, Ms. Wilds, do you have anything else?
Nothing else to add, Your Honor. I was going to pass up his pre-sentence report if you wanted it with his prior convictions and outstanding cases on it as you're going through the record, but that was all.
On the suspend charge, 100 fines, 200 costs, 75 victim charge, $50 justice assessment. I'll go light on that. $425 or 93 days jail with credit for one. On the other case, there's just nothing I can do. Probation's revoked. You're to pay costs of $450 and serve 90 days, credit one for 89. If you pay costs of $450, I'm gonna go out of my way. I'm gonna treat you with like 10,000 times more respect than you've treated courts in the Tri-County area. I'll suspend 81 of the 89. You'll only have to serve 8. That's a gift. It's like a massive Christmas present. I didn't just buy you a Christmas present. We drove up a Rolls Royce. You pull this nonsense with me again, I'm telling you, you come back and do this again, I'll give you every single day that I possibly can. Do we understand one another?
Yes, Your Honor.
100%. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So you pay $450, you'll be out in 8 days. On the suspend charge, I'll be happy to give you time. I want you to be able to pay the other one. I'll let you pay this at the rate of 60 a week, and I won't start this until February the 27th. If you don't have the money, you call the court. You and I will go on Zoom on or before the due date. Be more than happy to work with you. If you have to call me 38 times, about 3 times more than warrants that you have, I'll be happy to work with you, but stop ignoring me and stop ignoring courts. This is ridiculous. This is a gift. Do you understand what I'm telling you, son?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stop this. Have a seat. Good luck. Thank
Judge,
you.
will the order be will the order be clear enough for the county to?
Yeah, all these, can you pay $450 today?
I can try.
You get somebody to bring the 450 and they'll redo the minimus. If you can get somebody to bring 450 now, it'll just say 8 days.
Can you do that?
I can try.
Okay.
Well, if
Will he
you-
have access to
just-
his phone while he's waiting?
We'll let you make a couple calls right now.
Okay,
We don't want you to sit in there.
Thank you.
thank you, Your Honor.
One here.
Yeah, she's gonna.
Where am I generating number?
Right. People against Gannon, James Dean Gannon, Junior, 22B 142373, A and B.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mike Hill Crawford, representing Mr. Gannon. Sir, for the record, please state your name.
James Dean Gannon Jr.
Plead allowing a licensed driver to drive is suspended, no proof to be dismissed, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
Boy, your lawyer did a good job. If you plead to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, the possible penalties are up to 500 fines, 90 days jail. Costs are all of those. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Did you sign, read, and understand an advice of rights form?
Yes, sir.
If you plead guilty, you will be giving up all those rights, and there will be no trial of any kind. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
To the charge allowing an unlicensed driver to drive, how do you plead?
Are you pleading guilty or not guilty, sir? Are you?
Guilty, sir.
On November 18 at 22 at 10:57 PM, were you operating a motor vehicle or in control of a motor vehicle that was being operated on Van Horn near Struan in Brownstown?
Yes, sir.
And did you allow somebody to drive that was unlicensed, and was that somebody you?
Yes, sir.
Are you on probation?
Well, yes, sir, actually,
Are you on parole?
no, sir.
Anybody in the world forced you to plead guilty?
I'm sorry, sir.
Anybody in the world forced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Please accept it, suspends, dismissed. The second file is dismissed as well, that being the no proof. Counsel, does he have a valid license?
He doesn't. He's caught up in a kind of a bureaucratic circle. As soon as this is cleared, he has to go over to Flat Rock, present this same information, and he's expecting to clear it and then have a license then.
Yeah, you're not doing too good. You have multiple suspensions, right?
Yes, sir. I understand. Like, as you mentioned a few minutes ago about the COVID thing, I should have never received gotten my license suspended. It was a mishap on the court's behalf downtown.
What do you mean?
Your Honor, my client had picked up a charge previously from another jurisdiction, but it had been worked out and resolved to an allowing version of that charge, attempted, I'm sorry. And it should not have been suspended. It just wasn't entered by that courthouse. So since they didn't enter it into the system appropriately to let Secretary of State know, they suspended it, even though it shouldn't have been. He presented documentation to show that the charge he was actually guilty of was not a suspending type of
Yeah, but
offense.
he's already got multiple suspensions on other.
Well, I think he picked up a couple after that because they thought it was suspended. So he's kind of working backwards to show it never should have been suspended. He's come to these various jurisdictions to try to clear it up.
Where do you work?
I'm sorry.
Where do you work at?
I subcontract exterior work, mostly concrete masonry, do emergency roofing repairs.
Okay.
I was actually,
What do you want to say? Anything else?
I was actually in the midst of getting my CDL and it was supposed to be driving a truck when I received the letter about my license.
All right.
So to the extent you can, Your Honor, if you could take it easy on the fines, he's trying to get things in order.
Take it easy on everybody,
Yes, sir.
but not enough to help some of them. Listen, stop this nonsense,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Absolutely.
100 fines, 210 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment, 435 or 90 days.
Your Honor, my client can't pay that today. Can he have 30 days, Your
How
Honor?
much can you pay today? Anything?
$50? 45, I'm sorry. 45 is
Okay, how
exactly.
much can you pay per week? Can I set you up on a weekly plan?
Yes, sir. We do 50 a week.
No problem. If you don't have the money, you just call me. Don't call me, call the court, and you and I will go on Zoom, and I'll give you an extension.
Thank you,
Or
sir.
you can come in here and I'll give you an extension.
Thank
Don't ignore me.
Thank you. sir.
45 today, 50 a week, and I'll start that beginning on February I'll just start you February the 17th. Again, you don't have the money, no reason to be scared, call the court, we'll go on Zoom, or you can come in on or before the due date, and I'll work it out. Don't ignore me, good luck. You're all set. Thank you very much. I have a 340A and 340B.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning again. For the record, Your Honor, House Counsel Attorney Mike Allen, P65417, on behalf of Mr. Braden.
Name?
Nathaniel Braden. Judge, today's a date time set for, we have a contempt hearing and a pretrial. The contempt is on an underlying civil infraction. Prosecution has been amenable to add an additional count, which is a civil infraction of loitering in return for the misdemeanor disorderly public intox. My client is ready to plead to the contempt hearing, plead guilty and plead responsible to the underlying civil infraction.
For the charge of loitering, how do you plead, responsible or not responsible?
Responsible.
Plea is accepted, disorderly is dismissed. I'm going to ask you how you're going to plead to the civil infraction contempt charge. Looks like you owe 189.
Your Honor, we're hopeful that the court will consider, but I'm also looking at the age of the case, is that Your Honor allow the opportunity for the contempt to be set aside and allow him an opportunity to pay that ticket on or before February 17th.
He has been playing with this.
I spoke to him in
Do you
my
work?
I'm starting a new job on Monday.
Starting a new job. When did you last work? How old are you?
I'm 30 years old.
When did you last work? This case been outstanding for over a year.
I was working through people ready off and on.
Your Honor, I went over this. If I had a valid reason to explain that period of time, I would be giving you that reason right now.
I'm not putting any cart before any horse here.
Yes,
I
sir.
took his plea to disorderly. If he wants to plead the failure to pay, he can. If he doesn't, I'll give him a hearing.
He's going to plead to failure to pay. And I've explained to him that in part that's because of the age of this case. And he can pay on or before February 17th.
I'm not sure I want to give him the February 17th. He's known about this. He's playing games. Mr. Braden.
Your Honor,
Mr. Braden.
Yeah.
You're playing games. You plead guilty here. I want you to understand you could be held in contempt. You could get 19 days. You can satisfy this in full by payment, full by serving the jail term, or in part by payment, in part by serving the jail term. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand your rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Plead guilty, you're giving up all of those rights, and there will not be a hearing. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
The charge you failed to pay 189. How do you plead?
It's up to you.
Guilty, Your Honor.
Did you fail to pay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anybody force you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Please accept it. What irritates me is you've known about this for a year. I mean, this is the same old story that I see all the time. It just got a different ending because it's different people. You know, you blow these off like they're no big deal at all. I mean, look at you on the disorderly public intox. Do I really have to show these back?
I went over it, Your Honor. He failed to appear.
I know, but it's the same story, and at some point you get a little tired of it, and I've been tired of it, and I'm not going to apologize for being tired of it.
I understand, Your Honor. Last time we spoke about this, as the address that the court had was to an old house. I didn't get the notice.
Mr. Braden.
Just what the best thing to do is, yeah, it's too old. There's no, unless you're in a coma or something.
Would you think that we threw the file in a garbage pit, took it over to the Franken Poet drain and dumped it in the creek, or we took it over to the landfill and had it buried? I mean, come on. You knew you got tickets. You need to grow up. You got a lot of growing up to do if you're 30 years old. When did he last work before this new job he started?
Your Honor, I was forward thinking. My objective was pay it today, have your money today, try and keep you out of jail today. He does start a job on Monday. It takes 1 week for the paycheck circulation, and that's why I'm asking for February 17th.
You know how much,
Your Honor, if he pays on it before February 17th, or be prepared for the inevitable. I've told my client, cash is king. Words aren't going to get us through the day, and he's mindful of that. And he knows if he doesn't pay that on or before that date, that he's gonna have to address the court. for
Lisa,
that.
you know the language that I have about every $10 reducing it. I want it on the commitment. You're to pay $189 or serve 19 days. We're gonna give you a jail start date down there for that date, for February 17th at 8:30 in the morning. If you pay by that time, the contempt will be purged. You don't have to serve. If you don't, you have to show up and serve your 19 days in jail. Do we understand one another?
Yes, Your Honor.
150 on the loitering charge. I'm going to give you until March 1st to pay on that one. If you don't have the money, you come in here and talk to me. If you show me an effort, you come in here on March the 17th, you'll find a reasonable judge. If you're holding in handcuffs, good luck. See what I'm telling you?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's ridiculous.
Was it March or February, Your Honor?
February 17th on the civil infraction at 8:30. He's going to go down and get a jail start date. I'm going to make him pay the 150 on the loitering charge by March the 1st.
Yes, Judge.
Again, you don't have the money? No problem. Come on in here on or before the due date. I'll give you an extension. But you can't keep doing this. Good luck. 643FY and 22B142 450.
Gary Mike McFadden.
You're gonna have to sit back close.
They're gonna want you to sit in my car.
Edward Zelenak for the defendants, Your Honor.
Okay, I want to know, I need to first call out, there were several victims on these cases, and I need to make sure that none of them are in here. Let me just pull out all the names. There was a notice sent to Chief Oakley of the Trenton Police Department, Brian Wojcik of Perrysburg, Ohio, Sarah Baritsky, Ambrosi, Officer Cassette of Trenton, Officer K of Trenton. That is on the 23T728643FY case. Any of those individuals show up here, Lisa?
Not by
Zoom, I
Zoom.
mean?
Not by Zoom.
All right, and then I also have an R&O on the other case, the R&O from Brownstown, or under local ordinance from a February 16 date. So these pleas were taken, by the way, on different dates. The R&O out of Brownstown was taken February 15. That was a no contest plea. And the no contest plea on the felony charge reduced to misdemeanors of assault and battery were taken on February the 7th. And those pleas were to counts 3 and 4. And give me 1 second. I'm going to need another probation order on those. So one of those involved an assault or an assault and battery upon Ambrosi, and another one upon Wojcik. So, counsel, have you had the opportunity to review the report with your client, and are there any material additions, corrections, or deletions?
No, there's brief allocution, Your Honor, and Mr. McFadden is here today with his father, who's just been providing support on this incident. Mr. McFadden and I both agree that some corrective measures are necessary, and I'd ask the court to consider the adoption of the report. And at this time, to hold off if there's any incarceration. He clearly had a bad day. It was a reaction to drugs, and he ended up being hospitalized and on a ventilator for 5 days as the result of this incident. It's rare and it's embarrassing to have a grown man who's had no problems or any contact for nearly 20 years to run down the street in a daze in his underwear in freezing cold weather. And he went from Brownstown to the hospital and this whole thing unfolded, and there he lay until he was released. Since then, he's been compliant with the court's orders. He's working with his father. He's the manager and logistics director for Rodriguez Expediting. Works full-time, has 2 children, and he helps his father take care of not only his brother, who's an opioid addict, who's in recovery, but the son who suffers from certain emotional disabilities. So Mr. McFadden has his hands full and clearly made an egregious error and decision that day to ingest mushrooms and everything else unfolded. Your Honor, the reports speak for themselves. Mr. McFadden doesn't recall anything about the incident at all. And you can see by the conduct, which you might deem aberrant, that you'd wonder what the heck was he thinking? He wasn't thinking anything at all.
So here's what I have. I have an offense date, Mr. McFadden, of December 17 of 22 on the felony that your lawyer did a phenomenal job on getting it reduced to misdemeanors. And then I have the other case that they have a December 16th date on. The assault and battery. We got an officer here. Officer K reported he had injured his back. Cassette reported he had a hematoma on his head. Baritsky Amrosi stated she was summoned by nurses who were attempting to restrain McFadden. McFadden punched her in the left eye. She deployed her taser, which took effect and caused McFadden to fall to the ground. She called for her partner, Wojcik, who arrived and attempted to secure McFadden, continued to fight with Wojcik, punching him in the side of the head. And then I've got this one out of Brownstown who doesn't look much better. This is an officer. McFadden told Officer Fox he was going to punch him in the face. This time, Roberts, Fox, Bilecki, and myself attempted to secure McFadden in handcuffs. He actively resisted and pulled away. See, I don't really care if you're drinking alcohol or using opiates or using meth or using any other drugs. You don't, and obviously I care because it's harmful to your health and these types of things happen. But I'm not going to permit somebody to use that as a crutch for outrageous conduct. I'm just telling you. You think this is amusing, whether you do when you're sober or not sober is no consequence to me. You don't get to punch police officers. You don't get to punch anybody. You want to punch somebody, go fight in MMA. It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. I don't know why anybody thinks that they can punch a police officer. I don't get it. Oh, I know. I don't understand, Judge. This is the 21st century. I don't give a what century it is. You don't get to do that. You want to do that? Go fight them in a ring. Go join MMA. Become a heavyweight, middleweight boxer, welterweight, whatever you want. I don't get this lack of respect. I don't understand it. Never have, never will. Not the way I was raised. Punching police officers in the face.
I did not punch a police officer in the face. Your Honor.
Okay, well, you pled to assault and you took a no contest plea. So as far as I'm concerned, I used the form, I used the report, and you punched the police officer. You punched Amrosi and you punched Wojcik in the face or the side of the head. If you didn't assault anybody, it was your prerogative to take it to trial. And the irony here is, quite honestly, is that this was a lack of memory, no contest plea. You stipulated to the report, due to lack of memory, it was a no contest, and now you want to start debating with me as to what happened. I don't go for this. I'm just telling you. And you did it twice. And, you know, I suppose that one can look at, well, he was high. Who got him high? Who got him high? Did the police officer force you to ingest drugs? If they forced you to ingest drugs, that would be one thing. I told you had your work cut out for you on this one.
There's not much to add, Your Honor. Mr. McFadden conceded when he read the reports that it truly was a day that unfolded. He made incorrect decisions that day. I often thought when I looked at his case, it'd be an ideal case for court and school, regardless of what the punishment would be, because there's several lessons in this case. And it's too bad you didn't have one, Judge. This would have been a good case to do for court and school. But that's why I took the plea, Your Honor. I realized that it's time to turn around.
No, I get it. And you did a great job for him. And nobody would dispute that. Nobody. I mean, was he in jail for one day?
Well, they kept him in the hospital for 5 days, Your Honor, if you might consider that as credit. He was completely immobilized at the hospital.
Were they standing there with him?
In and out, they contacted me. His father was out of the country, contacted me. I went to the hospital, checked him, then his father came back. But the police did not have to stand guard, Your Honor. He was not going anywhere. He had everything hooked up to him. And there's a harder lesson there about the misuse or the abuse of controlled substances when Mr. McFadden realized how perilously close he was to dying when he was in the hospital, Your Honor. And everyone has their pride. Everyone wants to later either revisit or deny what's happening. But I think Mr. McFadden, when he took the plea, set the die as to what the court would do here. I'd ask the court just to consider, and as much as his father's going in tomorrow for surgery and he's in charge of running the trucking company, to consider if there's incarceration, to attach it as a penalty, be revisited with a jail review date. He needs to take care of his father's business for perhaps the next 30 days, Your Honor. May I ask if you want to say anything, Mr. McFadden?
I'd like to say that I called the police out to my house to be helped. When they arrived, I was getting badgered by each officer that showed up. If I was poisoned, I would have been at my house waiting for an ambulance for 30 minutes. I never told a cop I was going to punch them in the face, swung at, attempted to look like I was punching them in the face. And I don't remember hitting any staff members. I never.
You agree that the hospital report speaks for itself, and you were intubated on a ventilator for close to 5 days.
Correct.
All right. Judge, I think that lack of memory, probably there might be clouded memory or select recollection, but something put him on the ventilator, and it certainly wasn't the officers having contact with him.
It's just not the way I was raised. It's just not the way I was raised.
Well, you know, Judge, that's why his father came. Everyone knows his father. His father didn't raise him that way either.
I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he didn't. So these are what make my position difficult, Mr. McFadden. But as I heard your lawyer say to you, you're not helping yourself. See, I'm an old school guy. And that doesn't mean I'm a tough guy. It means that I understand. It means I've been around this. It means I was watching cases in this courthouse and in the predecessor building of the 33rd District Court when I was 8. That's what it means. That's what it means. And what it means is I just was taught, and I expect people to show people with authority respect. Now, I wouldn't treat somebody who was putting pickles on a hamburger at McDonald's like this. That's just me. So it doesn't mean that a position elevates somebody in society's eyes or in my eyes. But that is an authority figure. And we have every right to disagree with authority figures. We have every right in the world to say, that guy, you can leave here. You can leave here. You have every right to go out and say, Judge McNally is a horrible judge. You have every right to go out there and tell everybody, these officers were out of control. They're horrible officers. But when you have a dispute with someone, your recourse is to come into the courthouse and say, Judge, I wasn't charged, but they assaulted me and I get to sue them. Or Judge, they charged me, but I didn't commit this act, and here are my defenses. That's what this place is about. This is the judicial system. There's none better. None better. No better branch of government in any country. That's what we're responsible for. This is our democracy. You're not going to act like this. So this makes my job difficult. Because quite honestly, you deserve 93 days here. You really do. And the fact that you think or are trying to defend yourself, it doesn't help your situation. Because I'm of the opinion, and I think any statistics would back me up on this, that those who don't accept responsibility for their actions are much more likely to come back than those who are here that are sorry about what occurred, are taking steps to make sure they don't occur again. It's just the way it is. "24 months probation." I'm going to run these terms concurrent. I want to just clarify, Mr. Zelnick, on the jail. I guess I'm asking, were the police, was he considered to be in custody? Were the police there with him? Or did they drop him off at the hospital or get him to the hospital and then leave?
All I remember is that Lieutenant Hawkins said they checked him in, made sure he was secure. When they found out that he was put under anesthesia and intubated, they left him and said to the hospital, call if there's any problems. So they dropped him off, had him placed in the room. And you may recall that Lieutenant Hawkins participated in the plea, the reductions. It indicated that the officers were back to work within an hour after this incident here. So I don't know if you can theoretically count the 5 days. We'd ask the court to consider that, sure. We've been upfront with everything in this case. And
I'm not saying you haven't.
And you know, Mr. McFadden hasn't been in a courtroom in nearly 20 years since he was in high school, Your Honor. And
I know,
to have another talk with him about decorum, Your Honor.
But he did it 2 different times.
Well, Your Honor, but it was the continuing event. It was from there to the hospital.
I get it.
Cheech and Chong would say that's some powerful stuff, Your Honor. I have no idea what it was. But it's the first time I used them as a defense in my career, Your Honor.
Still going back to the fact that he punched people in the head. "24 months probation." I'm running these concurrent to 2 cases here. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate any law or ordinance. If you do, change your address, your place of employment, or your home telephone number, you must notify probation. You do have to report as directed. No alcohol, no illegal drugs, no bars. In order that you attend anger management with 12-week follow-up, anger management with 12-week follow-up, in order that you attend AANA 3 times a week until you're in an intensive outpatient treatment. Once you get in intensive outpatient treatment, you no longer have to attend AA or NA. You're to have no contact with Sarah Baritsky, Ann Rosary, Zachary Cassette, Stephen K., and or Brian Wojcik. You're not to possess any firearms. You're not to possess dangerous weapons. And by the way, that case, give me 1 second. There's a lot of paperwork to fill out here. So I want to just be clear, anger management with 12-week follow-up, AANA 3 times a week until in treatment, IOP. Once you get in intensive outpatient, you no longer have to go. No contact with Sarah Baritsky, Ambrosi, Zachary Cassette, Stephen K., and or Brian Wojcik. You're not to possess any firearms. I'm not going to qualify in count 4 them as being victims. There was no real assault. It was just a simple R&O. Again, testing will be weekly for 2 months, bi-weekly for 3, then monthly. No alcohol, no drugs, no marijuana, no illegal drugs of any kind. So this is difficult. It really is. I cannot justify this behavior though. 16 days jail credit 2, 16 days jail credit 2. That leaves 14. I'm going to let him serve 5 of those days on the court work program. So he's going to serve 9. The court work program fees will be attributed on count 3 only. Count 3 only. There's $175. So um, 5 court work, and that will leave 9 jail. 9 jail. Now, I want you to understand something. This could be a lot worse. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Fines and costs are as follows. On count 3. Count 3. $100 fines, $100 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment. So that's 3 1/4. Screening fee is 60 for 385. Probation fees are 480. Bring your total to 865 plus the court work program fees of 175. Totals 1,040. On the other case, I'm simply fining 100, costs 100. That's, I shouldn't say on the other case. On count 4, 100 fines, 100 costs. And that is it. 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment. So it's it's 3.25 or 93 days, but same thing, 16 days jail credit, 2, serve 5 on the court work program, 9 days jail. The court work program fees are already attributed to the other file. Now, on the 2-4, so you have 1,040, 9 days jail, 5 court work. I'm gonna give you credit for 2 or 93. On count 4, I'm gonna give you, it's 325 again, or 93 days, again, 9 days jail, 5 court work, 2 credit, total 16. And then the other case, I'm simply going to run it concurrent. That's on the R&O involving Brownstown. I'm not even going to place you on probation on that case. I'm simply going to say 100 fines, 100 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment, 3.25 or 90 days. I'm going to give you 5 days jail credit 5, or 2 days jail credit 5, 2 days jail credit 2, sorry, 2 days jail credit 2. So he owes 3.25 twice, that's 650 plus 1,040, the total's 1,690.
I'm gonna pay that now, Your Honor.
All right, now listen, I want to talk to you a second. What's the father going? I don't want you to get too detailed. Is there somebody else that can run this business? Because I'm not real excited about having him wait 30 days to start serving his jail term.
Probably not. It's surgery that he's put off for a long time on his back, Mr. McFadden.
I mean, is there nobody else? I'm not asking him.
No, there's nobody else, Your Honor. Right now, Mr. McFadden Jr. runs the company, and jail is therapeutic. Remember, another judge down in Southgate used to say that, and this will help Mr. McFadden. But if we could have a report date in the future, Your Honor, it'd be an incredible discretion from the bench, not for the defendant, but for his father. The court would permit that. 30 days would help you get through the surgery. Well, he's going around morning.
Here's what I'm going to do. He's going to report to service jail term on March the. I'm going to make it March the 13th.
Thank you.
If you're telling me that the surgery is going to require him still to be doing this, I'll put it back another week, but
I'll be here, Judge. We'll let the court know.
Okay, so March 13th, you can pay now. Mr. McFadden, I'm really concerned about you. I don't send a lot of people to jail. I really don't. I'm just telling you, I know you want to say something. I wouldn't if I was you.
There are those brigadoon moments in life. And let's certainly hope this is it for Mr. McFadden,
I
Your
hope
Honor.
so too. I really do. All right, he'll meet with probation. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize.
To attempt to resist and obstruct an officer. He was referred for a pre-sentence report, actually a screening and assessment. We had the opportunity to review the report with him, and are there any material additions, corrections, or deletions?
Yes, review, Judge. It is factually accurate.
Okay, anything you would like to say on his behalf?
Your Honor, I saw the terms and conditions. I believe they're extremely appropriate. He's done extremely well on bond. I have no reason to believe that he wouldn't do equally well on probation. I'd ask the terms and conditions be adopted.
Anything you'd like to say?
No, Your Honor.
When? I want to know when you're going to grow up.
Working on it.
You better work a hell of a lot harder than you are. Excuse my language.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you mean working on it?
Well,
How are you working on it?
I started a new job. I'm living on my own with a girlfriend, trying to put all the trouble behind me.
I just don't know why it is that somebody would think that they can approach an officer like this in an aggressive manner like this. You got to tell me. Maybe I can incorporate this into one of the footnotes in the book I'm going to write. I want to know why you would think that you can do that.
I was intoxicated, Your Honor.
I don't care.
Not violent.
They didn't pour the alcohol down your throat, right?
No, that was.
I mean, nobody else did that.
Right.
Nobody forced you to get drunk, did they?
No, I'm not a violent person. It was a
You're
mistake.
taking on an officer. No respect for authority, huh?
No, I do respect.
I mean, if I do something you don't like, you're not going to approach me in an aggressive manner, are you?
Absolutely not.
You're not going to yell or swear at me, are you?
No.
Your record. Let's talk about your record. I mean, you had a 213, you had an impaired in 11, you had an OUIL in 12. Actually, it says OUIL third or subsequent offense notice. How many drunk drivings have you had?
I had 2 of them before the age of 21. So
you've had about 4 or 5?
No, sir. 2.
Why does that say OUIL third?
Well, that keeps popping up.
Disorderly and 13 drug charges. I'm just telling you. You got to stop this. Look, here's the thing. If you think you're being wronged by the police, what do you think a judge would tell you? What do you think a judge would tell you as to how you pursue that?
To take it to court.
Thank you. That's why we have these places. You don't get to be judge and jury out on the streets. 18 months probation. I honestly think he needs sobriety court, to be honest with you. Let me see your,
Judge, I don't believe there was a requirement on his bond to do AA meetings, but I did in fact give him the link today, anticipating that he would be doing AA to be able to start immediately.
18 months probation. Terms are you cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate any law or ordinance. You change your address, place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify probation. You have to report as directed. No alcohol, no illegal drugs, no marijuana. You're not to purchase, possess, or consume any one of those. No kratom, poppy seeds, or CBD oils. Those are prohibited. Consuming food or other items containing those substances will be deemed a violation. Submit to chemical testing, PBTs and ETGs as follows. Bi-weekly for 3 months, then monthly. Attend AANA 3 times a week until you're in intensive outpatient treatment. Once you get in intensive outpatient treatment, you don't have to go to IOP any longer. No contact with Officer Psych. You're not to possess firearms. You're not to possess dangerous weapons. Do you understand the sentence of the court so far?
Yes, sir.
How much time did he spend in jail on this? Was it a night?
5 nights.
5 nights, Your Honor.
When did you do that?
Was over Christmas.
Well, you were arraigned on December 27th. Can you tell me when you were picked up?
Yeah, the Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Well, if it was a Thursday, Judge, I believe that he's indicating that would be December 22nd.
Okay, so he's got 5 days coming, right? Is that fair?
Yes, Your Honor.
7 days jail credit, 5 served 2. I'll let you serve those on the court work program. There's a $35 a day charge for that for a total of 70. 100 fines, 100 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment, $60 screening fee, $360 in probation fees. So your total here amounts to $745 plus the court work program fees of 70, total $815. You may be eligible for early discharge. If you violate, your probation could be revoked. You could be incarcerated for 365 days. Mr. Helko, how many times you been in front of me?
A few when I was younger.
Well, you're not ancient. You're 30. You make it sound like you're 79 or something.
With the MIPs and, you know, the underage drinking.
These aren't even on here. Point is, you better stop coming in front of me.
Yes, sir.
Really? I mean, you're gonna end up in deep trouble if you keep up on this. I'm telling you, I see it coming. All you gotta do is get one more of these drunk drivings. That's all you gotta do. Between now and the time you're 112, you're gonna have a felony on your record. Then nobody's gonna hire you. All right, enough said. Can he pay all of this today or does he need time?
Your Honor, he can make a $250 payment today, and then he indicates he can make $100 per week.
You make $400 to $500 a week net or gross? Is that after tax or before?
After.
You pay $250 now. I'll let you pay $65 a week. I'll start this beginning a week from Friday, which is March the 3rd, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Helko, I don't want to see you back here.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Okay.
He'll meet with probation. Thank you very much, Mr. Shemke.
Thank you, Judge.
He is able to pay what is owing at this moment.
I'm going to accept your plea to those violations. Where is he, Pat?
Your Honor, that was the #1 question that I asked him. As you can see from the dates, it was, the beginning of the pandemic. He went through an extreme mental situation where he had lost his job that he had for so many years, and he kind of just dug himself up underneath a rock. He shouldn't have, and he's had years to come back and deal with this since doing that. He's still dealing with some health issues. He does, he's got an appointment actually today or tomorrow to see his doctor about what he's dealing with, but he is sober. I know that doesn't mean much because he hasn't completed probation, but he knows he shouldn't have absconded. He knows he shouldn't have pushed the court off, but pretty much he kind of pushed life off at the time, Your Honor. And he is here today, apologizing for absconding and asking the court for mercy as he submits himself to your jurisdiction, and hopefully he can rectify this in some way by getting time to complete what he needs to do for the court.
And it is, Your Honor, I went through a hard, it was like a depression. I want to talk to nobody. And I want to make positive changes because I don't want to live a life like this.
Yes, Your Honor. In regards to his probation, Mr. Harry basically has done nothing. His performance on probation pretty much mimics us, even at the time attempting to get him to fill out his screening assessment paperwork. So I'm not surprised by his non-compliance with probation. We're talking no 12-step meetings, no treatment, testing. Last I heard from house arrest services, he still owed them, I believe, over $1,200 for his SoberLink device. I spoke with Ms. Lacy just before, and I want to stand corrected in a previous conversation I had. Mr. Harry was sentenced January 27 of 21. His 2 years would have been up January 27 of 23. I informed her that I thought he had a little bit more time before his 2 years. I stand corrected. That at this point, there is nothing probation could do for Mr. Harry. He did not try to communicate with us at all. If he was having issues with mental health, he did not seek treatment for it. That moving forward, there's again, no recommendation outside of revocation of jail time from probation.
What was the blood draw or breathalyzer test on this? Can you tell me?
Yes, Your Honor, he was a 0.12 first BAC, 0.11 second BAC. I do have a screening assessment if you'd like.
Hey, let me see it, please.
Yeah, sure.
Something bothers me.
He has a very long criminal history, Your Honor.
And talk about the suspended driving offenses. There's a slew of those. You still got a stalking 08, domestic 09, RNC stolen property 11, stalking 11, MDOP 11, felony larceny, 2 counts of 12, another larceny 13, felony larceny 13, aggravated stalking 14, impaired 19, domestic 20. You can take that back.
Yes, sir.
How can I have any compassion for something like this?
Well, Your Honor.
I mean, words are cheap. I want you to understand something, Mr. Harry. You've been acting like a criminal your whole life.
And you're right, Your Honor. And I know you hear it a lot, but it's like it finally clicked in my head.
I know.
And even
Judges don't have crystal balls, Mr. Harry. We can only go by past behavior to predict future behavior. You got 20 convictions on there. There's got to be 20 convictions. If there's not, there's 19 or 18. And so
16.
I'm supposed to suddenly believe that you've seen the light? Seriously? You haven't been here in 2 years? You did nothing on this? I'm looking back at some other things. You pled guilty on a bond violation, failure to appear for probation visit, failure to appear for status review. I tried to get you into sobriety court, didn't I?
yes, Your Honor.
You showed no willingness to help yourself. I mean, like I said earlier, I'd love to sit here every single day and never send anybody to jail. Nothing would make me happy. Nothing would make this easier. But I have a job to do. And you are requiring me to do something I don't want to do. How much does he owe in fines?
1,400 for the probation violation case.
Is he working?
He is. He did get called back to his job, and it's just at a different location.
When did he get called back?
Well, Your Honor,
when, not where, not why, when?
it was shortly after in 22, the month, I believe, around.
So 4 months ago? That was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it 21? Yeah, 21. I'm sorry.
November of 21. Your Honor.
So you had it together enough to go to work since November of 21, but you didn't have enough, you didn't have it together enough to come and fulfill your probationary conditions.
But our contract we lost through US Steel. We're contracted through US Steel, so the hours really wasn't from what it was. And then now I have some health issue where I lost all the feeling in my hands and my feet, and I'm real like it's hard, like kind of like
You are
it's like
30,
stumbling.
you're gonna be 35 this year?
Yes, Your Honor. And it finally, I know you don't believe me because of my past, but it finally just, like, I finally seen the light. Like, I mean, for real, I isolated myself even from friends. Like, It was just a tough time. And
How many days credit do you have coming? Did you serve 7 days jail on this initially?
yes, Your Honor.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did you do any court work program?
None, Your Honor, there's no credit for the work program.
Lisa, can you confirm that he did do the 7 days? I'm trying to look for the commitment in here. It's not popping out.
I see 7 days court work program at sentencing.
I ordered initially 7 days jail and 7 days court work. He was supposed to appear to serve, it looks like on January 28th of 21. Here it is. I'm gonna be able to sleep real easy tonight.
March 3rd.
Probation's revoked, you're to pay costs of $1,400. You're to serve 93 days, credit 8 for 85. If you pay costs of $1,400, I'll suspend 30 of the 85. You only have to serve 55. I am going to give you credit for time served on the speeding violation and close that case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I ask?
He's not going anywhere. Sorry.
Well, he's got to be out of his home. The person he rents from is selling his home. He's got to be out by March 3rd.
Should have thought about that when he blew us off 2 years ago. I'm sorry.
Well, that wasn't an issue 2 years ago, Your Honor.
Well, I'm telling you what, I'm not. Sorry. Have a seat, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Merlin Arnold. I need to see you.
Here they come, Judge.
Ma'am, your name? Ma'am, your name?
Sherry Earls.
I'm gonna have to speak up for him.
Mike Hill Crawford, representing the defendant, Your Honor.
So I have a complaint of violation of conditional release here. The A file is from an incident of February 7. The B file is likewise from an incident of February 7. He's going to plead, she's going to plead on the
On the A file, Your Honor, where they alleged she had a domestic violence incident with her daughter. She'll be pleading guilty to that one, and then the other will be dismissed.
But the violation of conditional release pertains to the B file, right?
I believe it really pertains to both, because all three parties live together. And my client was misled and went back to the property in both.
I'm just, the B file is the one involving the daughter, right?
The A is the daughter. B is the boyfriend.
Okay. And the complaint of violation of conditional release indicates she made contact with both.
Correct, Your Honor.
So, ma'am, do you understand what your lawyer has told me here? You're going to plead according to him on file B, which is the incident involving Tawny Earls. That is a misdemeanor on a punishable by up to $500, fines, 93 days jail, costs, or all of those. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you plead guilty on that, you're giving up your right to a trial by court or a trial by jury. You're giving up your right to question their witnesses, to bring in your own witnesses, to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses. If you plead guilty, you're giving up all those rights and there will not be a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
To the charge domestic violence, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You okay?
Yes.
On February 7 of 23 at roughly 2:06 p.m., were you at 24719 Deer Creek Drive in Flat Rock?
Yes.
What did you do?
I got into an argument with my daughter and I hit her.
Hang on a second. I got to pick you up, ma'am. You got into an argument with your daughter who was Tawny Earls, correct?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I hit her.
You hit her?
Yes.
How old is Tawny Earls?
34.
You hit her where?
On her face right here.
On the face?
Yeah.
Closed fist, open hand, what?
It was open hand.
Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Did she live with you at the time?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to accept your plea. Were you under the influence? Does the report indicate she was under the influence of anything?
There's no report of any influence.
No police report?
No report of any influence that she was under the influence of any alcohol or drugs.
All right, I'm going to accept your plea. I'm going to refer you for a pre-sentence report. I'm going to dismiss the other file, which is file A. I'm going to refer you for a pre-sentence report. A warrant was issued, I believe, when she failed to appear before, correct?
Correct, Your Honor. Your Honor.
Officer, your name?
Officer Jeremy Mullins, Flat Rock Police Department, Your Honor.
Listen, I don't know what happened. I was told you were up all night. And I don't know how that happened. We should have taken care of this morning. We weren't aware of it. We were not aware of that. So I just want you to be clear here. That was not something on our end, okay? Pre-sentence report, sentence data. I don't really need to address the issue of the bond violation. I don't have a prosecutor here, not that I necessarily need one. Is Mr. Keeley in the building still?
No, I believe he's gone for the day.
What am I gonna do with her? I told her not to go back.
Well, Your Honor, if I could explain the circumstances. My client's position is that she was misled in this matter. There was a call made apparently from the daughter, the victim in this matter, to her boyfriend's phone claiming that CPS was there doing an investigation, I guess with regards to the grandchildren. They needed to question her. And so she thought she needed to come answer CPS questions about the kids. So she came there thinking CPS would be there. And just a couple minutes after she got there, the police came in.
Why wasn't she here last week?
At the previous hearing, Your Honor, she actually did call to let the court know that she didn't have a way of getting there. She actually thought this was supposed to be some type of conference, but she did not show up. She called the day of. She didn't have a way of getting here, and she was told she couldn't participate by Zoom.
Where does she live?
Ma'am, please provide the address. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I can help with that because I know she's having a hard time talking. In the meantime, she's been staying with her girlfriend in Lincoln Park.
Where she lives.
Lincoln Park.
Yeah, well, then we're gonna have to give her a ride. If she can't get here, we're gonna have to give you a ride. You can't not show up. You cannot violate judge's orders, ma'am.
Okay, I know.
5,000, 10% is the bond. Pre-sentence report, sentence date. I'm presuming we can do it next week on the 23rd, Lisa.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you here in the morning on that day, Mr. Crawford?
I will, Your Honor.
8:30.
Let me be clear, Your Honor. I'm here on the 23rd, but I'm here on arraignments, but I have no problem taking care of this.
The bond, ma'am. The bond is continued, no contact with Tawny Earls or Charles Baker. So I'm transferring all these bond conditions over to, they were initially put on the A and B file. I'm simply going to indicate that they will be on this file as well. And that's what I'm doing. No contact with the Earls, no firearms, no dangerous weapons. You're not to enter 24719 Deer Creek Drive in Flat Rock until further order of the court. So you're not going back there now at all. I was going to address that issue with you. If you'd have shown up last time, no contact with prosecution witnesses. February the 23rd at 8:30 will be your sentence date. You need to tell probation to get a hold of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Off the record. Lee Earls, 23F 3031B. Mr. Carmen?
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael A. Carmen, P73824, on behalf of the defendant.
Okay.
He doesn't have power where he's at, just having a hard time connecting. He doesn't have an internet.
Where are you at, Mr. Carmen? I mean, can we not? I'd really rather you be on the device. I just don't want to look at your picture, no disrespect. Mr. Carmen, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I'm getting very limited cell phone service. I have no power at my house, so I'm sitting out in my car, and where I live, the cell phone reception is just very spotty.
All right, Ms. Earls, your name?
Cherie Lee Earls.
So Ms. Earls pled guilty to domestic violence on February 16th. She was referred for a pre-sentence, and the case involving her daughter, Ms. Tawny Earls, was the one that she pled on. That was file B. And then file A, her daughter's boyfriend, being Mr. Charles Baker, was dismissed. She was also picked up on a bond violation. I've ordered no contact, and she had contact allegedly back on the date of February. Just give me 1 second here. February 15th. So have you had a chance to review the report with your client? And are there any material additions, corrections, or deletions?
Your Honor, I have, and no, they're not at this time.
Is there anything that you would like to say on her behalf?
Your Honor, I would just like to add that I've gone through the recommendations of probation with Ms. Earls, and I would ask that the court adopt those.
I need somebody to go on and confirm that neither victim is here. Is Tawny Earls here, or is Charles Baker here?
There's nobody on Zoom, Judge. Well, is there anybody in the hallway behind
I just need to check and make sure that the victims are not here. Where is she going to go? If I were to release her, and I'm not sure I am, where is she going to go? She already violated the no contact provision once.
Ms. Earls, do you have someone you can stay with?
Yes, my girlfriend out in Lincoln Park.
Anything you'd like to say, Ms. Earls?
Thank you, Your Honor. All the best. No, I'm just gotta love family from afar.
I didn't understand you, ma'am.
I gotta stay away from my family.
This is a sad commentary. It's more sad that you think that you can violate orders. I have no idea why you would have thought that you could go back there when I made it explicitly clear to you that you were not to go back there. And I'm telling you, if we have this happen again, I'm going to give you every single day I can. Do we understand one another?
Yes, sir.
You're fooling around with meth? Is that the subject of a new case? That might be. I don't want you to answer that. I don't know what the status of that is. I'm going to place you on probation for a period of 12 months. Ma'am, I'm telling you, if you violate this no contact order, we're going to have a big problem. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate any law or ordinance. If you change your address, your place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify probation. You have to report as directed. No alcohol, no marijuana, no illegal drugs. You cannot purchase, possess, or consume any one of those. Kratom, poppy seeds, and CBD oils are prohibited. Consuming food or other items containing those substances will be deemed a violation. You're to submit to chemical testing, PBTs, and ETG tests bi-weekly. Bi-weekly. That will be for, and I understand you don't have a lot of money, but I don't feel comfortable doing less than 3 months. If you stay clean, you show up every time you test, it's negative, I will then make it monthly. Do you understand that so far?
Yes, sir.
I want you to attend AANA at least 3 times per week. Every time you go, you have to have the form signed. Every time you come to court, you have to bring that form with you. If you need one, you can come up to the court. We'll be happy to give you an AANA verification form. You're going to go 3 times a week until you are in intensive outpatient treatment. Once you get in intensive outpatient treatment, you no longer have to attend AA or NA. Again, no contact with Tani Earls or Charles Baker. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, there was an issue as to who owned this, and that's when I ordered initially that she wasn't to go back, and I was going to address it at the hearing. Then she did not show up. Do you know anything in reference to that?
Your Honor, I do not. I didn't have that conversation with my client.
And you've been in custody since the 16th of February, correct?
15th.
So including today, that's 10 days. $10 days jail, credit 10. $100 in fines, $200 in costs, $75 victims' rights fee, $50 justice assessment, $4 1/4, $60 screening fee is $485, probation fees are $240. Your total here amounts to $725. If you violate, your probation could be revoked. You could be incarcerated for up to 93 days. You have 21 days to appeal. You have 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal. I'm going to indicate right on this order, defendant may petition court to modify no contact, and I will consider doing that. We'll have to give notice to the victims, no contact, if defendant owns or has possessory interest in the property. You understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna promise you something. And I don't mean to come across as threatening. You violate, I'm not gonna feel bad. You're doing all 93 days. Do we understand one another?
Yes, sir.
This should be worse. You violated the order. You went back and allegedly did the same kind of thing. That's the order of the court. Any questions?
No, sir.
Your
I'm
Honor,
gonna let you
we
pay
do have a-
this. I'm gonna let her pay at the rate of, I'm gonna let her pay. Let me cut this real quick before you cut out. $25 a week. You can pay that at, I'm gonna start that March the 10th. If you don't have the money, you can call the court. You and I will go on Zoom on or before the due date. I'll work with you. Anything else, Mr. Carmen? Yes, now you can address.
Okay, yes,
Court.
Your Honor, we did have a question about bond in this matter. Is it 5,000, 10%?
Well, this was the sentencing, right? The bond
Correct,
becomes
Your Honor.
irrelevant.
No,
The bond becomes irrelevant. I don't know what she had on the other case. I have no idea. I don't remember. I believe I said it, but I don't think my case. She's going to have to deal with that. I believe that's Judge Heston's case. Can you double check?
right, Your Honor, that I
please?
understood, but my client was confused about the bond amounts, which was which on each case.
Let me go back and check that. Can you check real quick?
Thank you.
Sure, at Earls. Does she have? Counsel, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I dismissed the other domestic charge and I can't tell. Ask Lisa to get on there, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. We
Go back.
appreciate it.
Wait, let me double check one thing. Go to number 1.
Okay.
Let me double check one thing real quick. See if there's a bottom on that. Can you go down? Go to the other one. Oh, bond history, that's 5,000 personal. Go to number 2 now. 3. Deputy, you don't have any other indication that she has another bond on any of these cases, do you?
Your Honor, I'm looking at her stuff in GIS right now. I know in Judge Heston's courtroom, she has a March 8th, $5,000 personal bond.
Right. So that's it. She shouldn't have. That's the only one I'm seeing. So she should be able to be released.
She should be released, yes, Your Honor.
Very good, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
Very
So
good, Your
I'm
Honor.
just
Thank you.
saying, unless there's some other hold, this will be good on these cases. Let me just. Yeah, she should be good on these cases. Okay, good luck. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Stay out of there, man.
I will.
Stay out of there. Robert Michael